Legends Fest 2024 has been very interesting, to say the least. Part 1 character picks that on paper sound incredibly hype. Vegito Blue, Rose, yeah, there's just no world where you could tell me those are the Part 1 pick before we watch the reveals and stuff, and then expect me to believe they're not going to be hype. But somehow, Legends managed to fumble, for the most part, these two characters for the majority of the fan base. So how exactly do they turn this around? Well, that brings us to Part 2 of Legends Fest 2024. There's a lot riding on this part of the celebration now, which the reveals and stuff is happening on Tuesday the 10th. And if we're being honest, Part 2 of Fest doesn't necessarily have the best track record. Back in 2022, it was LF Vegeta and Trunks. Last year, it was LF Bardock and Goku. And there's nothing really wrong with either of those picks. But to me, neither of those level of like hype releases would really change people's outlook and how they're feeling about Fest this year. So whoever they're choosing for the Part 2 characters need to have a bit more aura, if you will, than those previous Part 2 releases. And speaking of aura, you can add a bit more aura to this video by hitting that like button. Thanks. And here's the thing, Part 2 kind of sort of soft launched this week, which for a week that you would consider mostly an off week, right? There was no reveals and stuff. There were no new summonable characters. It was actually pretty good. We got a brand new free to play Vegeta, the Zenkai for the future blue Vegeta, and then an equip for LF Trunks. Hey, that's solid to me. But here's the thing, as we all know, the content the week before release usually has some weight on what we will see in the following week. So with that in mind, what exactly is the common theme here between all those characters I just mentioned? Vegeta Clan. And the Vegeta Clan in the Sonic universe just dropped on our sponsor, G Fuel. Well, it didn't drop. You can waitlist it right now. It is a brand new shadow flavor. All right. Listen, he's basically the Vegeta of the Sonic universe. All right. Chill. What is a shadow flavor? Cherry Vanilla Explosion. It looks sick. Collector's box. It comes with this awesome shaker cup. Are you kidding me? So when it drops, again, G Fuel is a sponsor. You can use code NANO to save on this bundle, or if you just try to pick up the flavor by itself. I'm beyond excited. Don't forget though, new Naruto flavor, Akatsuki. Mine is on the way. Thank you, G4, for being a sponsor. Now, hear me out. Obviously, it could also be a nudge towards more Future or towards more Majin Buu Saga, but there's already been a lot of Majin Buu Saga this year, and they don't typically keep the same saga from part to part. So with that in mind, my bet on the only way that you actually see another Future character specifically is through a Legends Original. Now, before we actually discuss Legends Original, which is a very hot topic right now, we do have to bring up a big discussion for Part 2 that everyone is talking about, and that's if it's going to be the traditional single LF release or the 6th anniversary. How are we getting this many characters in such a short time span? Holy crap, 2 LFs in Part 2 right after 2 LFs in Part 1. Now, after seeing Part 1, I will say that I am now on the side that Part 2 will have 2 characters. Listen, I'm not here to discredit the Legends team in any way, but the Part 1 characters did feel a bit rushed and a little underwhelming compared to past years, and especially compared to the 6th anniversary. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to believe that that was due to the fact they had to do 2 LFs for Part 1, and then boom, they had to do 2 more LFs for Part 2, and the inevitable Part 3 Ultra as well, but that's always a thing. But that would still be an uptick in more LFs this year. Last year's Legends Fest was 3 LFs, 1 Ultra. This year's Legends Fest, 4 LFs and 1 Ultra? Highly likely. So now then, 2 LFs, who could they be? Let's start with the non-Legends Original first. I think there are several different characters we could see here. Obviously, Part 2 of the anniversary was a lot of what we expected with God Goku, but then Ultimate Gohan was kind of out of nowhere, at least to me. I didn't expect that. So I'm kind of getting that same vibe from this Part 2. But with all that said, let's start with Vegeta Clan. I know this sounds crazy because this game went so long giving Vegeta no love. No solo releases for Vegeta from October or September of 2021 with the Grade 8 Vegeta all the way until February of this year with the LF Super Vegeta. That was a long gap of no standalone Vegetas. And now it feels like maybe we're in this like renaissance of Vegetas. So my first one out of the gates here for a Vegeta Clan unit, not Legends Original, LF Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. We've talked all year about all the GT characters they've dropped, and they've damn near dropped every GT character they possibly could have, minus SSA 4 Vegeta and SSA 4 Goku. Now, technically, Goku already does have an LF, so I think if they bring him back and bring him into the equation, he's an Ultra. But as much as I love Vegeta, and I could cope all day. I think his first appearance in the game is going to be an LF. I know there's SJ4 Vegetas in the game, but as a premium unit in this new era of Legends, it would make sense to debut him as an LF versus an Ultra. And truly, that would actually round it out. All the main characters of GT would then actually have a Legends limited character in this game. So I think that stocks are pretty high on an actual possibility of an LF SJ4 Vegeta being here, just because it seems like they're randomly giving him way more love this year, maybe because they just spent so much time without him. And listen, maybe this is me putting a tinfoil hat on and looking too deep into things, but do you remember what the character was right before Fest that came out? The free-to-play character that always points to a character somewhere in the festival. Sen Shinron, GT character. Then, really weird, Frieza and Cell drop with the Rose? Like, that was so strange. My only thing with that is that for some reason, they gave that to Rose because they didn't want to dev another character. And there is another side banner unit that is coming with Vegeta. Like, that's my absolute cope right now, but that's what I think it could be. Instead of, though, I think there's a lot of signs pointing here to GT. I really don't think that Frieza and Cell are our final GT unit of the year. Now, that's enough for GT and enough for Vegeta Clan without diving into the Legends original, because we're not doing that just yet. For the next one, when we take a look at the actual news preview for the reveals and stuff, those colors kind of give me Daima vibes. So yeah, there's just something about this reveals and stuff preview that gives me Tamagami versus SJ2 Goku vibes. I don't know. Now, before we move on to the Legends original discussion, we have to mention one tag that we haven't mentioned yet, and that's movies. We rarely see a celebration not touch on the movies to some extent, and right now it's been double future. And if I were to pick a movie character besides the obvious, which we might be discussing in just a second, I would pick Dragon Ball Super Broly. Where is he at? We've got a free-to-play version this year, the Zenkai for the Blue Broly, the only Legends Limited version of that Broly, period, because part 2 picks, again, can be so random. It could be Broly, and maybe he's not that random, because I've mentioned this in my part 1 discussion, but I haven't brought it up here today. There's the obvious looming Zenkai of the oldest Legends Limited character that hasn't gotten one yet, and that's LF Gogeta Blue. And so if they do a Dragon Ball Super Broly character here and actually do Broly, then it would also align with giving the Zenkai to Gogeta Blue. Now, speaking of tags that have been buffed all year, right? GT has had so many releases, they've hit literally all the main villains. Another tag's been crazy for is Majin Buu Saga. And there's really, to me, they got Gotenks, they got Vegeta, they got all these characters, but there was one glaring character that did not get some love, and I'm kind of sad about, because I really like him. And it's so weird how Dokkan and Legends releases somehow line up, and that's Buuhan. All right, like, if this is gonna be a non-Legends original Majin Buu Saga character, I could see Buuhan being here, and he's just this cool side release, sort of. I'm not trying to take anything away from Buuhan, but like, I think when most people hear Buuhan, they don't think Legends Fest level, but he could be Legends Fest level if he's next to some insane Legends original. I think Buuhan is about all they really have left to really tackle in Majin Buu Saga that hasn't really had enough respect put on his name. It's kind of, I don't know, like, how do we only have like 2 Buuhans in this game? And then my last, and this is my true like ultimate Gohan, what the hell is Nano talking about here? But listen, okay, and that is Kefla. She's a fusion. They really love fusions this year. The only fusion that haven't dropped are Kefla and Super Gogeta. Everyone else has been here. Gogeta Blue, Super Vegito, Vegito Blue, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Gotenks. All cards this year. What are they doing? So I have to be sure to include this fusion somewhere. Another one that, like, I get this strange feeling that she could be here, and if she's not here, she might be in the first sort of quarter of Legends in 2025. I don't know. I think she's definitely on the horizon, but I would prefer her to be a Synchro Gauge LF. I think that'd be really cool to have her come back as a Khalifa and Kel that fuse and become Kefla. And the final thing we haven't spoken about, which has been sitting there this entire time, and I haven't got to add this to this video since I do it almost never video, because I'm still waiting on the shakeup. All right, Toastie and Legends team, but it's this line right here in the news section, which typically when they are going into a hype section and they're going to reveal a character very fast, I think back to like Ultra UI, where we are immediately greeted with the preview for who it's gonna be, and it starts out and it's like boom. Not saying it's a guaranteed Ultra here, but I'm not saying it's not. Okay, my one tiny argument to back this up is that we typically see an uptick, for whatever reason, we see an uptick in characters on this game. And so in 2022, there were 4 Ultras. In 2023, there were 6. And right now, there's only been 5 released. So there's a guaranteed one more somewhere. So at least matches the 2023 releases, which is the obvious part 3. But a potential uptick is also not out of the question, right? It would be an Ultra standard unit and then a Legends Original LF. Could be what we see here. Again, part 2, I think pretty much anything is on the board. And speaking of anything, let's talk Legends Original. This is where it debuted last year with Bardock and Goku, was part 2 of Legends Fest. We thought it would be there for 6th anniversary and it wasn't. So I do think if we're getting one again, and that wasn't some random one-off thing, it's here. It's now. And so let's go back. Let's talk Majin Buu Saga again. I've been on record multiple times saying I do not think they will introduce new forms, at least not anytime soon. I think this game has a very long lifespan. I don't, you know, Doomers and the Gloomers and all of that are like, it might shut down. No, dude, this game is doing a lot better than people want to give it credit for. So I think like a Legends Original that is like a truly new form, and that is a Legends True Original, is so far off, there's no point to talk about it. But what is not technically a true new form is SSJ3 Vegeta, because it is technically a form in Raging Blast. While I know the rights are different based on the games and stuff like that, I'm sure Bandai still has some leeway there. We have seen SSJ3 Vegeta be a very easy character dropped in Dokkan. Now granted, they've not done one in a bit, but they did do multiple SSJ3 Vegetas in Dokkan. Not trying to dive into a boring licensing talk with you guys, but I do think if it is something from a game that they have like actually worked on previously in-house at Bandai, it is probably up for grabs, but that's where it ends. So nothing from Heroes, nothing too crazy like that, but it probably doesn't take too much approval to get a form that has existed in another game that has been widely released worldwide, blah blah blah, all of that. So I actually think SSJ3 Vegeta is unironically on the table and goes back to this weird sort of love they're giving to Vegeta. I mean, dude, look at Majin Vegeta. All right, Ultra Majin Vegeta is insane. He's giving me the true copium here. I've said this a lot today, but like anytime I feel like I'm talking about like talking up Vegeta characters, I feel like I have to mention that, because we've just been like put down for so long. It feels weird to get like a #1 Vegeta unit in Ultra Majin Vegeta. Anyways, now if not SSJ3 Vegeta, I've seen people say this, so I want to mention it here, is some sort of cool team up between SSJ3 Goku and Majin Vegeta. So he actually does accept the power from Babidi, but instead of them going at it and fighting, Goku actually goes Super Saiyan 3, and Majin Vegeta and him work together to defeat Buu. I don't think they do another Majin Vegeta that fast. I really don't think they'll do Majin Buu Saga again that fast. I think that just sounds crazy, but it looks like it with that free-to-play unit. So that's one. And then because I've already went slightly off the rails, I'm just gonna throw this out here because I think it's crazy. Whatever, they love fusions. Gokan, man. All right, I said it. Goku and Gohan. It's not gonna happen. It's a little, you know, a little drop in the video. Let's talk Future. Okay, this is where I said if you're gonna see Future, it'll show up here as a Legends Original. I think you theory craft a lot of them, but I've got 3. Dragon Ball Super Trunks with Future Gohan writes itself. Future Gohan, they've not touched this unit in a long time. He's absolutely up for a Zenkai. I could see this. I just could. If not Super Trunks, then obviously just Z Trunks and a grown Z Trunks with Future Gohan where he actually survived. Again, these are very easy ride-alongs in Legends. And then last but not least, because he exists now, I'm sure the Legends team knew about it, Gohan Black. Okay, Gohan Black! I'm just saying, man, it's right there. We'll see it at some point, I'm sure, in this game. We'll see it in both games, right? Money-making machine for these mobile games. Bandai now has access to it through Sparking Zero. I am certain that we will see it at some point. When? Not sure. Could be here though, especially to sort of build on that hype of Sparking Zero and be like, hey, look, but this isn't Sparking Zero. Go buy our other game that's full price on consoles. Now, let's bring it back, or bring it forward, or bring it to the alternate timeline, however you want to say it, to the Grand Tour. GT. Now, obviously, I'm not going too crazy here. There's no true crazy what if, but I still do say that they can and probably will team up a character with Shallot. And what better character that we haven't seen in a while than SSJ4 Goku? Okay, SSJ4 Goku with Shallot. I think they really like Shallot, and they know that a lot of us really like Shallot. But the only way they'll probably ever truly sell him to us and make us have to summon for him is if he's attached to a character that we're used to summoning for. That is just my bet. And so the way they do that is they make it a tag unit with SSJ4 Goku. Or they could be Shallot with Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and that would make more sense. But also, I think because it makes more sense, that's why they almost would do it less and team up the SSJ4 Goku version just to have this more cool Legends Original thing to it. Now, if they didn't do that, I still got to throw this out here because I still think they might do something like this since they're kind of sort of separate timelines, and that is an SSJ4 Goku with a Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Nothing new, nothing too crazy. Pretty easily writes itself into a story where they could have them be out of time. Super simple. And I could not bring up a part 2, and honestly a celebration in general, without mentioning movies. Because movies, when have you ever seen movies not show up somewhere in one of these celebrations? And since they did double feature in part 1, I think we definitely see in movies before we're out of this celebration somewhere. So do y'all remember that teaser right before Fest where the canonical fights ended with UI Goku versus Beast Gohan? I still don't think that was total coincidence. I know a lot of people were like dunking on me because I brought that up a lot and then that didn't come to fruition. And maybe it won't. Maybe that was just like a subtle teaser. Still weird that you do all these canon fights and you'd end on one that everyone knows about from the manga. Maybe they're just trolling us. I don't know. But I don't think it was coincidence, because I think they could do 2 things with this here. The obvious, which is right there in the teaser, is just teaming up UI Goku and Beast Gohan. They could do it as a Legends original. No new forms, nothing too crazy. And they could sort of write their own Legends original spin on it and it not have anything truly to do with the manga stuff, since at least our understanding is that mostly it is very off limits. So very simple Legends story that teams these 2 characters up and they fight, and it's a cool homage to the manga while not being directly from the manga. And that would be a very, very hype character. I think that would truly overshadow all of part 1. Now for the other variant that you all knew was coming, the Orange Piccolo and the Beast Gohan team up. Now, not only is this Dimps' original creation from Xenoverse 2, it literally already exists, as they've already developed it before once in another one of their games a year and a half ago. But also, I mentioned this for Daima because I did think it gave me vibes from that episode specifically against the Tamagami, but you know what else it gives me vibes from? Beast Gohan in Orange Piccolo. I actually think, truly, I really believe this could be one of the characters we see here. It's been a theme I've said all video of that, like, it's really hard to predict what they're going to do in a part 2 situation, but I truly believe this could be one that's really, really up there and should absolutely be on everyone's bingo card. And it could also be the Ultra. Like, straight up, that could be the next step. It's like an Ultra Legends original. I think that is full. I'm going to say it again. Sorry. Cope. But I wouldn't also totally write that off either. And I also got to mention some sort in movies, and my favorite movie, Dragon Ball Super Broly, my favorite team up that I want to see, and I want to manifest this and bring it into the world, and that is a Z Broly tag unit with DBS Broly. Please, Legends, make it happen. I think this would be such a sick tag unit, and they've showed a little bit of love to Broly this year with the new Z Broly release, the Zenkai for the DBS Broly. It'd be really, really cool to see him show back up once more as this cool Legends original unit. I just really think that any combination of these part 2 characters I've laid out here could really turn public opinion. I think there's a few other things they need to do. I actually don't think they're doing everything wrong. I think it's just the part 1 picks that felt really underwhelming. I would love them to make a part 2 that just really does knock it completely out of the park and puts us all back on a level sort of like mindset about where Legends Fest 2024 is headed, and how it just sort of like hopefully leaves a better taste in everyone's mouth essentially at the end of Fest 2024. Speaking of the end, I hope you guys like this video. Subscribe for part 2 reactions, summons, gameplay, all of that. Don't forget to check out the new G Fuel flavor. Put it on your wait list, get ready for it, and use code NANO to save money. And in the meantime, if you're looking for more Legends content, good luck, because right there's a video, and I'll see you all in that one. Bye.